Mike Brookfield here. Welcome to Notation for Guitarists, episode 3 or lesson 3. So, how are you getting on? First week we did the notes of C all over the guitar neck. Then we did the notes of D, excuse me, in relation to C all over the guitar neck. So you can see it's kind of building up pretty quickly as to being a really challenging course, isn't it? But what I like about this way of approaching notation is it gives you a good overview of the notes all over the guitar, as opposed to spending like 8 months in the first position like you do when you're working out of reading books. But it's not meant to replace any systems. It's just an additional way of approaching notation, just to kind of really help you get it down, if you like. So today what we're going to do is, guess what, we're going to add the note of E in, which is the third in the key of C. So let's go through the notes. So on the screen you can see the E there, which is the first, the top space, if you like. So a lot of you people out there will know the notation through face, and every good boy deserves football. So face is the spaces, and every good boy deserves football is the lines on the stave. I'm not going to refer to that too much. I'm just going to just say where the note is, and I think it's important to just be able to verbalize where is the note without having to refer back to that kind of system. So E, first string open, top space. That's all. So you can see it there, and you can also play that note. Second string, 5. Third string, 9. Fourth string, 14. A fifth string, 19. So just play through those, being aware that that note, when it's written on the stave, is in the top space. So we had C, second space from the top, D, second line from the top, E, top space. Okay, let's go for another E. Let's look at this E here. Now this is written on the stave on the bottom line. So we can play that here on the fourth string 2, on the 5th string 7, and the 12th on the 6th string 12. So just play through those. They're E's, and they live on the bottom line on the stave. Okay, now let's go for our high E. So we can see that E there lives 3 extra ledger lines above the stave. So there it is on the 12th fret, which is an octave up from our E, which is in the top space. So there it is, 3 extra ledger lines, also at the 2nd string 17, also at the 3rd string 21. You're going to hear the different timbres and ever so slight microtonality tuning on the when you're playing these notes. Okay, and then the very last one we're going to do E, which is the lowest note on the guitar in standard tuning, and that's just below 3 extra ledger lines on the guitar. So you can only play that in one place, and there it is. So first few days just playing through those, looking at the chart, and it's just a really giving you an overview of where is E on the guitar. Okay, the next step is we need to look at E in relation to the notes we've already learned. So, and we're going to stay in the key of C. So the first thing we do is go back to our cage system. When we learnt in lesson 1, we learnt our caged octaves in the key of C. So that's the C form, there's C's. That's the A form, there's C's. That's the G form, C's. E form, D form. So they're all notes of C in the key of C, going through the 5 forms of caged. Really important that if you've not got that down, go back and just keep revising it so it gets really, really solid. These lessons are drills. They're not meant to be watched once and think, oh yeah, I think I've got that, and move on. Drills means you do them every day. You don't even think about it, you just do it. So now what we're going to do is look at the note of E in relation to these octaves. So I'm going to put the metronome on, and 80 is the magic number. That's actually 81, 80. So I'm going to play through exercise 2, the first one in the C form here. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I did there is I tried to make use of the fact that we have that low E and we're playing C, D and E, which is like do, re, mi, isn't it? So the aural benefits of these exercises are absolutely massive. If you're studying music at college and you're really trying to get your aural and your sight reading together, this is going to help massively. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So we've got the A form. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to carry on now. We're going to go to the G form. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go up to the E form. 3, 4. And up to the D form. 2, 3, 4. So there you have it. That's the cage system, and playing through the notes of C, D and E. So what we're doing is trying to emphasize that we're ending on the note of E and hear that relationship between the E and the C. So we're in the key of C. So, excuse me. So be going through that and use the little cog at the bottom of the screen there where you can slow it down. And you could decide, right, I'm going to do the C form for 2 days, and then I'm going to do the A form for 2 days. And as you go through it, you'll get used to it. You'll get the sound is very the melodic line of the exercises will really get into your ear and really help you aurally. Now we've got to turn this into music, haven't we? So it's no good just kind of like treating it like a sterile exercise. So the first thing to do, like we did on the last exercise, is see how many slurs and interesting ways we can experiment with playing these notes. So let's try that. We've got in the C form, we could be going, we could be playing double stop between the C and E. We can actually play a double stop between the D and the E. You can hear that interval of a third, which is kind of like the Brown Eyed Girl interval, isn't it? So that's C and E. Could try and bend up to the E. And then we've got the lower version. Oh, I played the note of A there, please. We're trying not to deviate from these 3 notes. It's quite tricky actually. Okay, let's go into the A form. So we were talking about that last week, weren't we? Playing C and D together. That's an Eric Clapton exercise, isn't it? And then, so we're using slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, bends. So we're turning it into music, an expressive form, aren't we? Here we go in the G form. C, D, E. Okay, let's go up to the E form. We've got some double stops. We were talking about that last week, weren't we? The John Mayer thing. And the and the D form. That sounds very John Mayer, doesn't it? It's got that kind of vibe about it. So you can see what I was doing there. I was going through the cage system and I was just concentrating on the 3 notes of C, D and E. I didn't play that E very much, did I? But I mean, you can pop that in like, you know. You know, just to remind yourself of, you know, that is the exercise of the week. We are trying to discover the note of E all over the neck and be conscious of where it lives on the stave. Top space, bottom line, 3 extra ledger lines above the stave, and below 3 extra ledger lines below the stave. Okay, we always like to throw in a bit of BB King, don't we? Because BB King's the coolest cat around. So I'm using Sweet Little Angel, that guitar solo he does on Live at the Regal. You know, I'm just picking out random licks, and the reason I'm doing this is one, it's kind of fun to play BB King, but it's also, let's look for our note of the week. And if we play the lick in the key of C, it helps us analyze what we're doing, and then we can retain the information and carry it forward, use it in our own improvisations. And really, it's me just to remind you of why you're doing this, because you know, it is kind of nice to be reminded, because it's hard. It's very, very hard to do what we're doing in this course. It's very easy to make up excuses and to kind of drift off into a bit of, I don't know, something that looks and sounds more impressive. But you know, what's more important than knowing what you're doing? You know, I put it pretty high up the list. So here's the lick we're going to do this week, and it goes. So I'm playing it on a C7. If you look at the notation, I know it's way more complicated than what we've been where we are at the moment. But what's really important is to look at that second note. And it's 3 extra ledger lines above the stave, and it's the 3rd. E is the 3rd in the key of C, and what is BB King doing? He's just hammering in to the 3rd from a fret below, which is the minor 3rd. So we're learning through playing this lick about hammering in from the minor to the major 3rd. And we're in the D form here. You know, and then he does the standard blues. So he's bending up and down, pulling off, and then ending on the root. So hammering into the 3rd. So, I mean, there's nothing cooler than playing these kind of BB King licks and souping them up and making them your own. If you've not looked at the Blues Show series, that's worth a look if you're interested in this element of the lesson. Okay, so I'm going to do a little jam out, and I hope you enjoyed that lesson 3. It's all building up nicely into that crescendo of pain, and I'll see you on the next one. Keep it burning.